Hello everyone, my name is Daniel and I'm back with a update on the Hanukkah, the last day of Hanukkah and its relationship to the day of the Lord and the Rapture. So I came across this verse recently and this is very interesting. Consider carefully from this day forward, from the 24th day of the 9th month, which is the eve of Hanukkah, the day the foundation of Yahweh's temple was laid. Consider carefully. What's interesting is that it's told to consider it carefully twice. So we're going to consider it very carefully. Now, when you take a verse like this, sometimes it's helpful to actually look at the Hebrew, and Blue Letter Bible is very helpful for that. So when we look at the word foundation, this looks like a noun in the English, but it's actually a verb in the Hebrew. It means to found, to establish, or to the laying of a foundation. So that's a verb, and so it could also mean to like establish, appoint, or ordain. And then the word that's from here could also be interpreted as after or from this point forward. So eve of Hanukkah to basically starting Hanukkah is another way of understanding this, right? So this is on the 24th day, so starting on the 25th and forward. And then the last word that I'm looking up here was the verb was laid, and that is to put in place, to set, to appoint, to make, to set in place. So it could be basically talking about dedication. And the way, sorry for all the scrolling here. If you look at the definition of dedicated, it's to devote it to a task or purpose. So when you set aside or you place a thing for a particular purpose, that would be dedication. So you could easily interpret this as after the 24th day, the establishment of the temple shall be set up or dedicated, right? You're establishing it for a particular purpose. So this interpretation makes sense in light of Hanukkah, right? Because this is at the time of Hanukkah. So they dedicate it for 8 days, and you get to the end of Hanukkah. And the Atzeret would be like the finale or the completion of the dedication in Hanukkah. But let's look on to see what else it says in Haggai about what's supposed to happen at that time. Tell Zerubbabel. So the word of Yahuwah came to Haggai, saying, tell Zerubbabel, the governor of Judea, that I'm about to shake the heavens and the earth. So not on this day, but he's about to, maybe 8 days later. Zerubbabel, I look up the meaning of names because I find that it adds a lot of context. It means the seed of Babylon. This is the ruler who left Babylon to rebuild the temple. And of course, we are in Babylon, and when we're raptured, we are leaving Babylon, and he's going to build us into the temple. And he says, I will overturn royal thrones and destroy the power of the kingdoms of the nations. I will overturn the chariots and the riders, and the horses and their riders will fall, each by the sword of his brother. On that day, declares Yahuwah of hosts, I will take you, my servant, Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, declares Yahuwah, and I will make you like my signet ring, for I have chosen you, declares Yahuwah of hosts. So here we have, I will take you, my servant, Zerubbabel. So we are his servant. We are the seed of Babylon. We are the fruit. We are what being harvested out of, or what's being taken out of Babylon. And of course, I looked up the meaning of the Father there. It means I asked God, implying for this child. So this is the asked for or the promised child, the male child that's going to be raptured up. And of course, it's they're the chosen, the people he chose from the beginning of time. And so he's going to make us like his signet ring. The signet ring is basically he's going to give us his authority. We're going to rule the nations. Because I have chosen you, declares Yahuwah of hosts. And of course, do you not know that you yourselves are God's temple, and that God's Spirit dwells in you? So he's going to set us up, lay the foundation, or dedicate us on this particular day. So to the one who perseveres, I will make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he will never again leave it. So we're going to be pillars in the temple, is how he compares us. So who is the one who perseveres? Here is the perseverance of the saints, those who keep the commandments of God and their faith in Yeshua. So, our faith in Yeshua and the Holy Spirit in us leads us to keep the commandments. Not that we are saved by the commandments, but the commandments are the fruit. Obedience to the commandments are the fruit that proves our faith. Because faith without works is dead, is nothing. So I recently was having a discussion with someone trying to understand the difference between faith with or without works. And it really comes down to skin in the game. If someone says, yeah, I promise you this is true, and they're going to give you all the assurances in the world, yeah, you're safe, right? In this particular case. Yeah, I promise you that this is tax deductible and you can, the IRS isn't going to come after you in the future. But then if you ask them to say, well, how about this? If it turns out that you're wrong and the IRS disagrees with you, will you actually back it up and cover the difference in taxes? And if they're not, then all their professed faith that it's good is meaningless because they're not willing to say, no, I know it's true because of that. So if you're not willing to put your money where your mouth is, put your works where your faith is, then you don't actually believe it. I get a lot of comments about this, a lot of people that are twisting my words, saying that you have to be perfect and that you have to, I'm preaching that Yeshua's sacrifice was enough. No, his sacrifice was enough. It's the only thing that saves us because no one is perfect. No one can keep the laws because of the flesh, but he puts his law on our hearts so that we can walk in it. That's why he gives us the Holy Spirit, so the Holy Spirit can help us walk in his law according to his law. So I encourage you to check out 119 Ministries about any verse that you have questions about. They've probably covered it, but please do not just assume because you call on his name, because many will say, Lord, Lord, have I not done all these things? And he say, I never knew you, you who practice lawlessness. And of course, the Antichrist is the lawless one. And so we don't want to be associated with the Antichrist. Anyway, that's my update for today. More things pointing to the 17th of December, the Yetzirah of Hanukkah, or the eve thereof on the 16th, being a very prominent day to be looking for the rapture and the fall of Babylon. If you've been following the news at all, you see that Russia is preparing, I saw 20 ICBMs. We've got all these weird, they call them drones now, or UFOs because they're unidentified, they're flying, and What's that all about? I mean, they're all over the world. I'm seeing reports of that. And they're the size of cars. So it's either a psyop of our government, which they claim they don't know what it is, or it's something our government can do nothing about. So that's a very fascinating situation to be in. But lots of stuff going on. We are, 3 days away from finding out if my interpretation is accurate or not. But we'll stay diligent, continue to focus on dedicating yourself, dedicating the temple, dedicating yourself during Hanukkah is what we should be doing right now. All right. See you later.